Hey everyone! It's been a while since my last video, but as you can see by my background, we are currently in the process of moving. We're just moving like 10 minutes away from where we currently are, but we're moving from an apartment to a house, which is really exciting, and I'm very excited. I'm gonna have my own kind of library office space, so I'm excited to set that all up, get my bookshelves all up again, and have sort of a better video setup there, because as you can see here, which I think I've talked about in past videos, I've always been a little annoyed that in order to have a good view of my bookshelf, I don't actually get the natural light because it's over there. So it'll be really nice if I can set up my bookshelves such that they're kind of in front of a window and I can have an even better place for me to sit down and chat with y'all and give you updates like this video. So today is my 1-year anniversary on Authortube, which is wild to think about. I started this Authortube channel exactly a year ago. I did try somewhat to recreate that first video, at least in the sense that I'm wearing the exact same shirt that I wore when I did that Authortube newbie tag as my first video for this channel. So, you know, it kind of works. I almost decided to get tea and drink it out of the same mug I was drinking in that video, but it's the late afternoon and I don't really want tea right now. That's okay. So we're here to reflect upon this past year on Authortube and also to give you guys an update on what I'm planning for the future and some other exciting things like that. So what have I accomplished in this past year? Well, number one, the most obvious and largest thing I accomplished, especially as it relates to Authortube, is that I got a literary agent. It only took me about a month and a half after I started this channel to sign with my agent. It did take me a year and a half of querying, but it was only a month and a half after that first Authortube newbie tag. And I am still just so grateful that my agent took a chance on me, and I've really enjoyed developing my professional relationship with her throughout this past almost year. I will be making a video in August for my 1-year anniversary of signing with my agent that reflects more in depth about that relationship that we've developed and everything my agent has done for me this past year and sort of how my routine with writing has changed because I have an agent. So look forward to that video in August if you're interested. The second thing that I accomplished this past year is I did a lot of writing. Maybe not as much as I wanted to sometimes. I did have some slower moments this year, including in the past like 2 months, but I did accomplish a lot, and it's great to reflect back on that, what I've done since June 27th, 2020. I did 2 major developmental revisions of my Witch YA novel and 2 polishing revisions. I also experimented with drafting adult SFF, so I experimented with an adult space fantasy and an adult desert fantasy story and did like 10,000 or 15,000 words on both of those. And I started my new YA historical fantasy, my Alchemy YA, and got about 10,000 words of that written as well, though I did like 10,000 words of that like 3 times, which if you want to see that whole process, you can see my vlogs. You can check out my writing vlogs playlist and check out all of that. So lots of writing, lots of just thinking about craft, experimenting with different things I haven't done before, figuring out how my process has changed with my agent. As I said, writing a first draft is very different now that I have an agent because I just have a different set of things that I do in talking with her and sort of like talking through my plans with what I write. So it's been a year. It's been a year of experimenting and learning about myself and my writing, and I really appreciate all of that, and I'm looking forward to an even smoother sort of writing process going forward as much as possible. And number 3, I figured out the kinds of content I like to make for Authortube. I experimented with a lot of different types of videos, different sit-down videos, different vlogs. I did actually film a reading vlog, but I didn't end up liking that, so I never posted it. So it's good for me to know that I don't actually enjoy posting reading vlogs, though one of the things that came out of that sort of failed reading vlog is I did transition my Instagram. I do have an Instagram. It is at Jasmine in the Sky. Traditionally, my Instagram has just been my cosplay photos, but I haven't really cosplayed in the past year, so it was just kind of dead. And I've been really enjoying other authors' Instagrams and also Bookstagram. So I ended up making my Instagram a little more broad. It's not just my cosplay now, but it's also some of my favorite books that I like to read, or just some fun Bookstagram photos. Like I posted this photo here for Pride Month with all of these queer YAs that I have read and or want to read, just to kind of celebrate Pride Month with this pretty photo of queer YA stories. So if you are interested in checking out some books that I'm currently reading, some books that I want to read, some books, you know, that I want to highlight, then go ahead and follow me on Instagram. That would be really great. You can also follow my Goodreads, because I post all of my favorites and my reviews on my favorites on my Goodreads as well. That'll be linked down below. Every 5-star read that I read, I will give a review on Goodreads about why it was a 5-star for me. So that is kind of my alternative to doing reading vlogs, those two things. So anyway, I figured a lot of stuff out about myself and my process and what I like to do. I also figured out what kind of schedule works best for me. I tried over 2 different months to do 2 videos a week. I did that when I first started this channel and also in November, and that really, that did not work for me. 2 videos a week was a lot. And even 1 video a week is a lot for me sometimes. I have a lot of stuff going on in my life. I have a pretty intense job. I have, you know, my own writing that I'm doing. I have a lot of different hobbies and things that I like to do, other social media that I keep up with. For instance, this past couple months, I haven't even been able to post any videos. And that's because my job is the busiest in the summer. I work for a university. I do summer outreach for high school students through the university, and the summer is just crunch time. It is when everything's happening. It's when our summer programs are happening. So I have worked 6-day weeks since the beginning of May. And I will continue to work 6-day weeks for most of the summer. And I'm also moving, as previously mentioned. So a lot going on this summer, and I talked it over with my agent, and we ended up just putting a pause on me drafting my alchemy YA, because it just was not a good time for me to draft a first draft. First drafts are really hard for me. It's definitely the hardest part of the process for me is getting that initial draft on paper. The planning of the first draft, the world building, all that stuff is not that hard. I really love that stuff. But the actual putting of the initial draft, the initial words on paper is for me the hardest process of writing. And I could not do that. I don't have the energy to do that this summer. So we put a pause on it, but it's okay because the publishing industry is being really slow this year, like slower even than normal. So we have plenty of time before we will know if my Witch YA is dead on submission, and if then we'll need to go out with a different YA novel. So I can draft the alchemy YA, or maybe I'll decide to draft a different YA in the fall. We'll see what happens when I get there. But I am going to write some this summer, so that's my other sort of big update for y'all, is that I am actually going to be doing another draft of my Witch YA. It is just a polishing revision, so it's more, I think my last draft was 5.5. This one's, I think, like, I mean, I guess I'll call this draft 6, but it is not a major developmental revision. It's got some developmental updates, mostly with regards to the beginning. Basically, I'm going to be speeding up my beginning to kind of get stuff started even quicker and have that more typical explosive YA start. Currently, my Witch YA has a very old school YA fantasy style of beginning, a more slow beginning, which is what I grew up with YA fantasy when I was reading YA fantasy as a teen, but is not really what is necessarily expected in the industry right now or desired in the industry right now. And as we are on submission, we want to, you know, make it even better. So with the distance since my last draft, I have come up with a revision plan for my Witch YA that I'm really excited about. Like, I really think having this distance and rereading it and you know, having a goal in mind for what I need to revise, I think that it's gonna make this book even better. And it's not a huge revision. I should get it done in a couple weeks. So that is the next video you guys will see. Will be another writing vlog, another revision for my Witch YA, which I'm pretty excited about. So I'll talk more about that in that video. So that's all I have to update you on and to reflect about. Oh, I guess the other thing I can reflect about is that this past year, my hair changed color. I went from blonde, which I had been dyeing my hair blonde for over a decade, and then I decided to experiment with this kind of copper red. I don't know how well it's showing up right now on camera because my lighting is kind of terrible, which, you know, as we talked about, I'll try to fix at my new house and have like a better setup going on. But I dyed my hair copper red for the first time. I believe it was with my second Witch YA Draft 5 vlog, which you can find in my writing vlogs playlist, and I have been really enjoying it. It took me a while to get used to it and get used to the amount of work having red hair requires, even though it's a more natural red, but I really like it and I think I'm gonna keep it for a while. So that's the final reflection on this last year on Authortube. Yeah, it's relevant, right? But thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I really appreciate everyone who has supported this channel so far. We've grown to over 300 subscribers in just a year, which is really amazing, and I really appreciate every single one of you, those who constantly comment on my videos and those who are silent lurkers. Whatever you do, I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you subscribing, and here's to hoping that we grow even more this second year on Authortube. And as always, thank you guys so very much for watching. There are links in my description to causes that need your support. Since it's been a couple months, I'm going to update those links and add a couple new ones. So as always, please check those out and give your support if you can. And I will see y'all in a couple weeks with my Witch YA revision vlog, and I look forward to chatting with y'all in the comments. Oh, and before I put my camera away, please ignore the alcohol boxes in the background. I don't actually drink alcohol very much at all. Like literally I might have a margarita once a year. But if you are ever moving, pro tip, going to liquor stores and asking if they have extra boxes is a great way to get free boxes for your move, because they always tend to have boxes that are all pretty good sizes. So I have a lot of liquor boxes here that have all of my books packed up. So my books are gonna be a little tipsy when we unpack them, but that's okay. So anyway, that was my PSA.